how to speak to women authentically, and also why red pill is bullshit. So in this video, I'm gonna be giving you a breakdown of exactly why red pill works and also why it doesn't work, and then presenting a much better perspective for you to be able to connect with women and be able to speak your truth and connect at an authentic level, without being afraid of, rejection or other stuff. So first off, this video came from, me speaking with one of my clients, and I've been thinking about this for a while. So it's important that this video is put out there because I want to help a lot of men be able to really change their lives, but also, speak to women, because these things have helped me out a lot. And also, I'm not just speaking out of my ass. Like, I have my wife right now, who I met and got married within like 5 weeks of my breakup that I had. So not only was I able to attract my dream partner, but I did it right after a breakup. And I also have a lot of experience with pickup. I have no issue going up to strangers and talking to them. And I am around women all the time because I'm a social dancer. So, I have that abundance of women in my life. So I want you to be able, this is coming from the experience of just having that abundance, being able to interact with women, having no fear, and also having my wife, who is my dream partner. So, so when I started getting into red pill, the first thing that really stood out to me was the parallel with red pill and other things such as behaviorism, behavior psychology. Behavior psychology is much more on the primitive side of things. It really has more to do with the idea that human beings are animals and human beings can be conditioned, the conditioning can really make them kind of like slaves to their conditioning. So, for example, like how do you train a dog to sit? It's like the same thing for a human being. Like, how do you train a human being to quit smoking, for example? Like, it has its uses, but then also there's like punishment, reward and punishment, etc. So it's very I would say very primitive, because it really appeals to the more animalistic psychology, and so human beings, when I hear red pill and when I look at what red pill talks about, I see a very important or very key parallel between that and behaviorism. And what I want to highlight is that behaviorism is very it's just one very small aspect of psychology. Psychology cannot be just like put into this box of behaviorism. Behaviorism is one aspect, and there's like many other aspects, higher aspects, that go much deeper into the complexities of what it means to be a human being. Like, there's cognitive psychology, which pertains more to the mental aspects. And then there's like, depth psychology, which pertains more to like the spiritual aspects and soul aspects. So if we're going to be talking about the whole spectrum of human experience, then red pill is very limited. It cannot handle much larger questions that have to do with, creating a fulfilling relationship and, creating a loving partnership. Red pill cannot handle those questions. Because let's look at the main key words around red pill. For example, hypergamy and sexual market value. These words are things that I hear, and it pisses me off to hear them, to even like be around people who think like that, because it makes me just it just points out to like where they are. Because first off, the reason it pisses me off is like, we are not just our status. We are not just the money that we make. We are not just what society tells us we are. We are human beings with emotions, with dreams, with desires. And to only confine our value and worth to status is ridiculous to me. And it's one of the things that pisses me off the most. So, when you play into this red pill narrative, understand that you are basically saying that your only value can be determined by something outside of yourself. Either the way you look, how tall you are, how much money you have, etc. And that's just ridiculous. Like, don't do that. First off, I'm telling you that like as a friend, because if you ever do that to yourself, like, you are basically playing into self-hatred. You are limiting yourself. At the very least, you are limiting yourself. So when we're talking about hypergamy, sexual market value, what are they talking about? So like, for example, sexual market value, like you have high sexual market value if you are attractive, you know, you are 6 foot tall or taller. You are strong, you know, you look built, you have an attractive physique. Aside from the physical aspects, you're making a lot of money. You're high on the social status area or rung of life, the social ladder. You have a lot of influence. Maybe you're famous. That would be high sexual market value. And then hypergamy is this idea that women are attracted to men on a higher rung of status. So you know, according to Red Pill, a woman will cheat on you if she you know, if a man with a higher status is presented to her and you know, offers himself to her. She will most likely leave you if you don't have like that higher status. And I've seen various people talk about these things. For example, I think it was Hamza talked about this for sure. Andrew Tate, for sure. Fresh and Fit, for sure. Let's see who else. Yeah, like those guys. Those guys are a lot of the guys that I've seen that are in the self-improvement space that have talked about relationships, and they presented it in that way. So, you know, through the years, I have seen this, I've tuned in, and I've been very pissed off at a lot of the things these guys say. Why? Because most of it isn't true. Like, I believe hypergamy and all these, they're cool. You know what? They have their place. But most of it is bullshit if that's the only thing and the only reality that you're going to perceive. For example, like the fact that behaviorism is very close to behaviorism, and like I'm going to outline this very well. Like at the we are a component of things, right? Like we have instincts, and we have our intellect, and then we have our intuition. Most of the time, I'm speaking about intuition in this channel. Being able to know who you are, being able to follow your truth, being guided by your soul, being guided by your truth. Most of the time, I'm just speaking about intuition. But all of this matters. So like, there's intuition, and then there's the intellect, which is on the lower rung of evolution. The intellect allows us to think, to reason, and to be able to be mentally stimulated. So recently we've gained we've made a lot of progress as a race to be able to develop our intellect. But then instinct is what a lot of Red Pill is about. It's mainly instinct and also intellect a little bit. Like instinct has to do with survival. It has to do with preservation of self, preservation of identity. So when we're talking about Red Pill, we're really talking about the instinctual urges of the human being. And most people are slaves to their instincts, which is why Red Pill is so popular. Because if you really do play into this narrative, then you would think that like a woman who is interested in herself will go for the guy with the most money, because, well, of course, she wants to preserve herself. And there's also like the idea of preservation of the children. Like that's a big necessity also. So like women are going to choose the men who can hold down a house, who can hold down the home, who can grow a family with. So they're gonna be attracted to a guy who can provide, who can make money, who can go out there and pursue their dreams, etc. And that is very true. I think if we are only talking about the population who is chained by their instincts and has no interest in growing and taking themselves out of there, then Red Pill is very true. But if we want to live a higher life, then we have to think better. We have to think higher. And so, like, when we're talking about red pill, this is my drawing of the human being, but red pill lives in these bottom 3 chakras. Like, these 3 chakras are, I'll explain them really quick. These 3 chakras have more to do with the self than they have to do with others. So if you want to connect with somebody at a very intimate, fulfilling level, then you have to be able to connect with them through the heart chakra. And that is very difficult because a lot of people are not connected to their heart chakra. They're more connected to this right here, to the lower 3. So then that means that I'm going to have to figure out a way to get people to that area, to that space of the heart. So, like, really, in reality, like, we have to think about this. Like, are we just instinctual beings? Are we only guided by preservation of self? I don't think so. Like, as a humanity, you look around and, like, people care about people. People want love. People want connection. People want to truly feel like they matter. So we are not just instinctual beings that have no care for only care for our physical livelihoods. Like, we are complex human beings. We are physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual individuals. So if we cannot understand that, then we will forever just be not just boring. Like, bro, like, you will be boring if you just focus on the physical aspects. If you want to live like a fulfilling life, like, you have to appeal to all these things. And if you want to attract a beautiful woman in a beautiful relationship, then you have to appeal to all these things. You have to. So let me explain a little bit. So the root chakra has to do with self-preservation. It's a thing that at a higher level, it connects you to the earth. It connects you to this physical world with the ability to manifest, to build in this world. The sacral chakra is above it next. It is located above the navel, around where the sexual organs are located, just a little bit above that. And it has to do with sexuality. It has to do with creativity. It has to do with sensuality. It has to do with emotions. So the more lower emotions, like, so, you know, sadness or a lot of shame, you know, when people experience shame is stored in that chakra. And then above that is the solar plexus, located in the solar plexus. Honestly, I don't know what the name is called. There's like Indian names for it. I think it's Indian names, but we'll call it the solar plexus chakra. And that has to do with power. It has to do with the ego. It has to do with power over people at a lower level. And then at a higher level, it has to do with power over self. So most people are living within the lower 3 chakras. And the line that separates them is a line that requires an integration of these 3 chakras with love. Like, if we talk about preservation if we talk about the root chakra, and we instill love into the root chakra, we, instead of it being about survival, it becomes a thing of connection to the earth, connection to this physical world, like love for your body. That's where love for your body will be found, nourishment, etc. And we're talking about the sacral chakra. When it at the lower level has more to do with sensuality and sexuality and emotional turmoil. But when we instill love into that, we can then experience higher states of creativity. And we can release a lot of the trauma that we hold here. This allows us to create and to be able to feel. And then the heart chakra will help us out with that. And then the solar plexus, when we instill love into the solar plexus, when we release this desire to control things around us, a lot of dynamics. You know, women are attracted to men because of the solar plexus chakra. Like a man with a strong solar plexus chakra, like it gives her direction, and men are more attracted to women because of their sacral chakra. Because there's this interplay where like the man wants the sensuality and creativity, while the woman wants the direction and purpose, and we fulfill each other's needs through those two things. But if we can integrate these with love, then we won't need to control our environment, and we won't need to chase after things. We will feel very content with ourselves, and then another urge will awaken to connect at the heart level. And when we can raise our consciousness up to that frequency, that's when when we can begin talking about fulfillment, and we can begin talking about a beautiful relationship. So red pill only exists below within those lower three chakras, simply because red pill cannot answer the question of what is love. If you were to ask red pill what is love, red pill would probably tell you like the ability to meet the person's needs. But can red pill explain how to meet a person's spiritual needs? Probably not. Or emotional needs? Most likely not, because it's gonna be more than just money, bro. And something that I want to make a huge point on is that, like, a lot of these things, a lot of people, what people talk about is how to get the girl, but not many talk about how to keep the girl. I don't think a lot of guys get that far. And it's funny because what I've found is that it's a lot harder to keep the girl. And it's not because you want to so much keep her, but to build with her. Like a lot of girls, have a lot of trauma. A lot of people have a lot of trauma. A lot of people have unresolved issues, and they use relationships to deal with that. So then that means that if you really want to find or create a life that is, create a relationship that is really fulfilling, then you have to begin to ask yourself, what does it mean to create a great fulfilling relationship, a loving relationship? And that will give you the answer to how to approach a woman. Because if you want to create a loving relationship where you feel safe to express yourself, where you feel loved by the woman, genuinely loved by the woman, and where you feel like you guys are moving towards something together and building together, then that would mean that would shape your approach. And what would your approach be? Your approach would be authentic. You're not going to want to go to a woman and be like, try to have sex with her right away, try to sleep with her. You're not going to objectify her, her body. There are a lot of attractive women out there. But when you know what you want and you can speak from there, then that's when you can begin to manifest into this world. That's how I made it happen with my wife. And that's how you can make it happen. So the reason that I said that red pill is bullshit and it's important is because you need to understand that the game that we're playing is much larger than that of instinct and intellect. The game that we're playing is one that we want to be able to be playing at an intuitive level. Because when I'm playing based on intuition, I am at my most sauciest. I got my best game, and I'm having the most fun. And I'm talking to the woman, and she loves it. She loves being around me. She can't get enough of it, and that's where you want to be. And the only way to be there is through intuition. When it comes down to specifically like being able to get the girl, one thing that I did want to mention was this idea that intuition can only be accessed through development of self. Like it takes time for you to understand your intuition, to be able to decipher that. And it has a lot to do with you speaking your truth and it has a lot to do with you being able to speak your truth regardless of the situation. Especially when the woman is super attractive, like when you're just like head over heels for her. And if you can speak your truth, that's what's gonna drive women crazy. That's what's gonna make them fall in love with you. And I'm gonna give you a little story of like why this is important, because what I realized is like when I was when I was single and I was speaking to women, they could never pinpoint exactly what attracted them to me. I just knew that they were super into me. They wanted to dance with me. They'd reach out to me. They'd respond to me ASAP. We'd go out. Like, there was no stalling. Like, and the reason this worked, the reason I was able to achieve that level of game was because I was unafraid. I was constantly pursuing and like letting women know where I was at and what I wanted, and I was having fun while doing it. And so you could say I'm a very charismatic person, but I'm also a very caring person. So like, I made sure to always let the woman know where I was and what my intentions were. And I also made sure, if there was something that I liked about her, I let her know. Like, I would always speak the highest to the highest of the person. I think that was my deepest desire. And it wasn't about, at one point I realized, like, it's not even about the girl, man. Like, it's just about speaking your truth. Like, I want that to be the main reason you pursue women, because you're alive, because you can, because like you're a man and you have that gift. Like, experiencing women is a beautiful thing in this world. Being able to be a man is a beautiful thing in this world, and I bet being a woman is a beautiful thing also. But I'm speaking to the boys, and so becoming that perfect balance between asshole and nice guy, that is really what comes from being your truth. Like, it's an integration of them both. The asshole can speak his truth, but can do it in a very rude way, and he also has issues emotionally because he doesn't know how to create boundaries, and he pushes people away, and he just objectifies women. So he gets what he wants, but at the same time, he's also distracting himself and very unhappy. And in the nice guy, he can keep his distance. He can, give the girl her space, not be rude, but he struggles with speaking his truth. He struggles, this is the guy that gets friend zoned all the time. And so you can become a great mix between them both. And that's what will drive women crazy, because if let's say a guy comes in and he's super direct and like he's just going for what he wants, she's gonna find that very attractive, because women love the fact that she's attracted by the solar plexus, right? Like she wants that solar plexus energy in her life. You have direction, you're speaking your truth, you're being direct, you're creating boundaries. So you have that asshole aspect to you, but also you have that nice guy aspect of you, which is caring, which is giving space, which is compassionate, which is very aware of the other individual, which is very self-conscious. If you have those two aspects. So the first aspect comes from, they both come from being tuned into your heart chakra, because how can you speak your truth? And it also has to do with the throat chakra, because speaking your truth has to do with the raising of that feeling into your throat, and the actualization of the words and the desires. Like, when you speak, you are manifesting. So like, when you tell a woman your truth, you are manifesting that relationship. Might not be with that woman, but it will be with a woman. But that ability to be able to speak your truth has a lot to do with the throat chakra, but also that ability to feel your truth. That's the nice guy aspect. So the integration of them both is going to be what will drive women crazy. And and so this is like the step up, the higher level perspective from red pill, which is like, and this is gonna come all full circle. I remember looking back at red pill, and I saw it, and I was looking at that ladder of like, the guy with the highest status is always the guy that wins. But you know what transcends status? Authenticity. Authenticity transcends status. So if you want to be playing this game of like you don't want to be competing, bro. First off, like, I don't compete. I never competed, bro. I was never threatened by another guy. I could see it. Like, guys were threatened by me for sure, because they hate the fact that I could like talk to women and like they love me. But the goal here is to be able to speak your truth, and then like be in your truth, and that is the highest status, because you're not chained by anything. You're free. And women, bro, like, they just love it, because you're just like unapologetic, and you're making moves, and you're making shit happen. You're pursuing your dreams. You're on your purpose. Like, you're going places, man. And women can feel that. They're very drawn to that. And that's why also NoFap is very popular. NoFap works, but there's also a lot of other things that need to be talked about for a much better understanding of how, this whole these relationship dynamics happen. But yeah, so there's that full circle, like the perspective is you speak to a woman authentically by being able to feel your heart, raising your consciousness to the heart chakra, past just the ego, past just preservation, and when you speak your truth, you're manifesting that ideal relationship. And so authenticity is the highest form of status, and that also kind of like fits in line with red pill. Like, it's like red pill is bullshit, but it has its place in the world. So how can you make it so that not only are you're like integrating red pill here? Now red pill isn't your limiting factor. You're not just being lived and playing into that narrative of red pill, but you're also like, you're considering it. You have integrated it into your being, but you understand that there's higher truths. So you're beginning to you kind of come into alignment with all of that. So like, I could sit down right now with Andrew Tate or any of the other red pill guys, and I could explain it very clearly for them. Because a lot of these dudes haven't experienced love in their life, like genuine connection with another woman, which is crazy. Like, but that's for another day. That's it for this video. I appreciate you tuning in. I will see you in the next one. And if you are interested in learning more about how to, all these dynamics, how to raise the frequency of your consciousness, how to speak from your heart, etc., the best way is, if you want to connect one-on-one with me, join my community, or if you want coaching, there's also that. But also, I'm going to be going more into this in my Lucid Living channel, and also in this channel, so just stay tuned. So yeah, just remember, stay lucid, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.